Hello crafty friends, it's Jess from jesscrafts.com, and today I'm here with a sponsored video from PaperMart where I'm going to show you how to make a couple of different Easter themed treats. So I picked up a couple of different products from PaperMart, and it includes this jute bag with handles, the faux jute drawstring bag, which is the white one, and then obviously the one with handles. There's this triangle bag that is made to kind of look like a carrot, and then there are some printed Easter themed washies, and I'm going to be linking all of these products in the video description below, so if you want to know exactly which product it is or where to find it, it will be right in the video description. And I'm just pulling these rolls of tape off of the roll just a little bit so you can see more clearly what the patterns are. There is an egg pattern, and then there's this grass pattern, and it might be a little bit hard to see from this perspective, but there are little eggs hiding in the grass. And I'll show you that a little bit later in the video. And then I have these two relatively wide ribbons. They're not so wide that you couldn't use them on the card, and they come in these 25-yard rolls, so once you pick it up, you will have it for a very long time and will be able to be generous with it. And then I have these butterflies, which are on picks, and they are like a bendable metal pick that they're on, so I'm going to be using those to decorate as well. And then I just have a bit of Easter grass and some candy treats to stuff the bags with. To get started, I wanted to show you using the cone bag, because you may have seen in the stores where they put like jelly beans or Reese's Pieces into these cone-shaped bags, and they're really cute. And so I wanted to give that a try, but I thought it'd be fun to use a pre-wrapped candy. I know not everyone wants to receive candy that's been handled, so I thought it would be better to get something that was wrapped but also orange. So I settled on these Butterfinger eggs, and as you can see, in order to create the effect of a carrot, all you really have to do is place the candy inside and close up the drawstring. So like I said, there's some other suggestions out there. You could take Reese's Pieces, half of them are orange, but they also release like special orange packs for Easter, or jelly beans if your recipient wouldn't mind you of having handled the candy. Or you can find something wrapped like these Butterfingers here, and one bag was able to fill probably about 6 if you distributed them a little bit more evenly, but I must admit I probably treated myself to 1 or 2, and it would have fit a little bit more if I hadn't. So to spruce up the bag a little bit, say you wanted a little bit more interest to the bag, or you wanted the orange color to be more prominent, I wanted to give you some ideas. Here I am using alcohol ink by Ranger and Tim Holtz, and if you are a crafty person, you might have this in your stash. It was really popular a few years back. And what you do is you take this alcohol-based ink and you put it on the felt pad applicator, and then you can just swipe it across. An alcohol-based ink is going to work best for this because of the synthetic material the bag is made out of. It's almost kind of like a plasticky texture. I mean, it's definitely a fabric, but a fabric made from more of a synthetic thread. And so the alcohol works really well to cover the alcohol-based ink. And so I'm just swiping that alcohol-based ink along the bottom to make the bottom orange, and then I will take some green alcohol ink and swipe it along the top to make it look like leaves, essentially, or like, the little bits on top of the carrot. But I realize not everyone will have the alcohol inks, and so I'm going to show you another solution in just a few minutes that we can use as well. With the alcohol pads, I find that sometimes once the felt pad here is saturated, you are able to get the color on a little bit better. So when I first started the green, since the little piece of felt wasn't saturated, it didn't give off as much green, but over time it started working a little bit better. And I'm protecting my work surface with a piece of plastic here. If you were to just do this on right on your work surface, then you would stain your work surface. So that wouldn't be a very good idea. And even a thin piece of paper might not be enough protection. So I really recommend some sort of, like, it can be a piece of plastic packaging will be fine to protect your work surface. And so that way when you close it up now, it looks a bit more like a carrot than just plain. However, like I said, maybe you don't have those alcohol inks from Ranger, but Sharpies are a lot more common, and even people who don't do a lot of crafting tend to have them where it can be easily available. And you could just do the green at the top, or you can do a mix of green and orange. So I'm going to show you what it looks like just with the green, because I know that green is also a more common color of Sharpie. So if you don't have a wide collection, you might have a green marker you can make work. And then it tends to look like a carrot, but you can also add the orange. The thing with using the Sharpie is you're kind of going to get the pen marks. You're going to get those stripes unless you really carefully color it in, which of course you could do. But even though you're getting these sort of striped lines here, then you can clearly see these pen marks. Once it's filled, you can't really see it because it kind of scrunches it up, and the orange from the candy also mixes in there. To clean up your plastic work surface, if it's something that you wanted to reuse and wasn't just a piece of packaging that you were throwing away, you can just take a little bit of rubbing alcohol and place it on your cloth. I happen to have some in a spray bottle, and I can just clean up my work surface there. So the next thing I wanted to show you is how you could stamp on these jute bags. Like I said, this one is a faux jute. It's much softer, and then there's the actual jute bag, which is a little bit stiffer and more traditional. And I'm just going to first show you how to stamp on it, and then I'll talk a little bit about how if you want to add some color. This is a Lawn Fawn stamp set, a clear stamp set. Any clear stamp set or rubber or even foam would do just fine. I'm going to use some StazOn ink because, again, that's an alcohol-based permanent ink that works well on fabric, plastic, etc. Any non-porous but also porous surfaces. It's a really, really versatile ink, so I recommend everyone have some StazOn. But if you're using foam stamps, you can use traditional acrylic paints or fabric paints and get a similar effect, perhaps but with more of a solid stamp. So as you can see, it doesn't create the most crisp, clear image because there are the little bits of the little holes in the material, which is, you know, normal and common for jute. So it's not going to give like really, really crisp lines. However, you can take a Sharpie fine line pen and sharpen those lines a little bit. But again, it's just supposed to be like a fun little decoration. So I'm not worried about it being perfect. Now I'm going to take some of this ribbon from PaperMart, and in this case, having this really wide ribbon is nice because it's going to cover all that little bit of drawstring at the top. So that drawstring, I pulled it in and then I wrapped it upon itself and tied it in a knot so that I could cover it with this more decorative ribbon. Of course, you could just leave it be, but I think this adds a little bit of an interesting touch. And like I said, you have so much of this ribbon on one roll. You can feel free to be generous, and if you're giving this to a fellow crafty person, they are sure to save the ribbon and reuse it. You can also then take all of this extra ribbon from your projects and create some fun cards. And once I have my bow tied, I'm just gonna kind of fuss with it a little bit till I like the way that it looks, but I just tie it like I would tie my shoes. There's no fancy bow here. It's just a matter of kind of pulling on it and playing with it until it lays right. Sometimes you have to kind of pull it tight and then loosen it and pull it tight and loosen it a few times to get it to the length that you want. I use the same stamping method, the same StazOn ink, on a clear block to stamp this traditional jute bag. The holes are a little bit bigger in this bag, and so I wanted to kind of reinforce the stamping. It also is a little bit actually more noticeable though because of the brown. So I think I like the way both bags look, but this brown handled bag is much bigger. So depending on the size of treats you want to give, you might think about which bag you would prefer from PaperMart. And now I'm going to take that Sharpie fine liner and I am going to retrace some of the design, particularly the eyes, nose, and mouth, so that it looks more clearly like a bunny. And you can see here that I'm just coloring with the Sharpie markers. As mentioned before, the Sharpies will work on a number of surfaces, so they're really versatile. You could also use Copic markers because they're also alcohol based. And I have a clear block or just any sort of hard surface stuffed inside my bag for when I'm coloring or stamping so that I can get a better impression and it's not like lumpy. Then I'm going to be able to fill my bag with some of that Easter grass. I chose the paper Easter grass because that way it's a little bit more recyclable, even though it cost a few pennies more. And I wanted to be able to give a nice looking bag without, if you fill this entire bag, you will take up almost an entire bag of candy. So they are pretty substantial, and I think these are better for like small gift giving as opposed to candy giving, because you will have to have quite a bit of candy. And I thought it'd be fun to tie this closed with a bow as well. You could tie it at the top. I tied it off to the side, and again, you'd fuss with it. That's not a super pretty looking bow because I didn't fuss with it, but that's all it takes. It's just a little bit of extra time. And then one of the last things I wanted to show you for the treat bags was using these butterfly picks. These are quite substantially sized butterflies, and so can work to be enough decoration all on their own so that you don't need to add any extra embellishment, or you could add them to the top similar to the bow that I added on the last one. So you could basically tie your bag closed by wrapping this thin wire that's attached to the butterfly around the bag. And I think that would look pretty too, but just because the size of the butterfly compared to the size of my bunny stamp was a little big, I thought I'd show you two different ways of doing it. And here I'm just going to make the butterfly the main embellishment, and I'm taking that wire pick and I'm feeding it through the holes of the jute bag. There's natural holes in the jute bag, and if you feed it through one of the holes and then so you're pushing it into and then out of the jute bag, and then you want to go back in again so that the wire is now again on the inside and your butterfly is attached. No special adhesive or glue or anything is needed for this. In fact, I didn't use any adhesive through any part of this. I was able to kind of, with the natural wires and the ribbon and everything, kind of just tie everything together. I also wanted to show you again, you can wrap these butterflies around the bag handles. So here I'm going to wrap it around the top of a drawstring bag, and that would be enough embellishment. My goal today was kind of to show you that there are like really quick, easy ways to do this with very limited materials. Like these are just the bags and butterflies from PaperMart, no extra materials needed. But then some more advanced things depending on what your craft stash is. Like if you have stamps or you have those alcohol inks, what you can do. And so here are the little bags that I created, a couple different bags, the one with stamping in white, the little carrot bags, but the alcohol inks, the jute bag with just the butterfly, or the jute bag with the stamping. The last thing I wanted to show you is just a quick tip on how you can use the washi tape. I think that PaperMart has some super cute washi tape at great prices, and so I wanted to pick some up to embellish the envelopes of the Easter cards that I will either include with these gifts or have in addition to these little treat bag gifts. And so here I'm going to take the Easter egg washi, and sometimes I like to use a torn edge and sometimes I like to cut the edge, depending on whether you want that really clean finished look or if you want it to be quick and rough. So here on the back I'll show you again that Easter grass, where there's little flowers and Easter eggs hidden among the grass, and it makes for a perfect little way to seal your envelope. I also like to do a little bit of stamping on my envelopes. I usually do this right before I send the cards out because I'm never quite sure who the recipient is or what occasion I might be sending it for when I make the card. But once I know, I can add a little decoration to the envelope as well. So that's just one quick little way you can use washi tape. You can also use it for cards, and I have some other videos on my channel if you'd like to check those out. But I did also want to include a little giveaway for you. Like I said, this is a sponsored video from PaperMart, and so I wanted you to go check them out. Tell me what you like from their washi tape selection or their Easter selection. Leave a comment in the video description below, and I will choose somebody locally or internationally to win some washi tape samples. This giveaway will be coming from me directly, just as a little treat for my subscribers, and is not part of the PaperMart sponsorship, but I'll just be sending you some of the washi tape off my roll. So that is it for my video today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you are interested in more crafting tutorials, be sure to subscribe to my channel. I will leave you links to all the products in the video description below, and I will leave you some links to other videos you might be interested in, including some Easter cards for you to check out as well. Thanks for watching. Bye.